Oh, hello there, oh boy. Oh boy. Let's take a look. It's in a book. It's reading Rainbow. I hear somebody clearing their vocal cords behind the scenes. I wonder who that could be. I'm playing this bed for him. Of course, you know him from the hit single "Rippin' the Poops."
I wish I could take credit for that. God, I would give anything to be able to go back in time and steal that song from Barty and be the originator.
If you were the responsible party for ripping the poops every day and every night.
Ripping the poops.
It is. Go ahead. Vomit out your vomit.
Banger. It's just, I listen to that song. I have to be the most listens that he gets annually on that track because I listen to it a lot, and I don't get tired of it ever.
Well, why would you?
Yeah.
He's a gentleman and a scholar. There's my YouSchoode up there. There it is. All right, it is YouSchoode. Thank you so much for being here. Usually I'm alone on YouSchoode, but I had some things that I had to invite Biker Sean on to discuss here in the first hour. He will then beat a hasty retreat. So if you like Biker Sean, hit the like button. Make sure we get into the algos. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit.
Largemouth ass gifted 20 Chad Duke Show memberships. Jesus, I can kiss your face.
What in the fuck? Why would he do that? Let's let Jimmy dance to the music a little bit, Sean. God damn. God damn, Biker Sean. It was not Biker Sean. You're Biker Sean. God damn, largemouth ass.
I was going to say, I get butt-sized.
Holy shit.
But
Everybody thank Largemouth Ass for the beautiful 20 gifted memberships. That is incredibly generous. Largemouth, thank you so much. I can't even explain the impact your support on the show makes. That you've just made this whole stream worthwhile. So thank you. He said, R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. Yeah, man. A lot of bad news recently. A lot of terrible news, and I don't know if you guys are looking for my thoughts on it. I feel like you can go find everybody screaming about all of it right now. And if you'd like that, I understand. Namaste. God bless. We're going to try to have some fun. We're going to try to watch some idiot cave divers. I've got some stupid pictures of Jim I want to show Sean. We're going to try to keep it light over here. But well said, Largemouth Ass. Thank you so much. And appreciate you being here. Of course, if you get a gifted membership, you get the access to the entire back catalog of Solid Dudes and everything we've done over here. So pleased to be enjoying that. Paul Morse is a member for 14 months. LMA starting off strong. You got that right, Paul. You got that right. You know how I feel about generosity.
I'm butt-sized.
You already know. All right, Sean, I didn't think we'd get this level of support here at the very. You want to read? Can you read super chats tonight?
Sure. For while I'm here, Steve
Please.
Ale with the $20 super chat. And look, I ain't gonna tell you what to do, any of you. But when you send the $20 super chat with nothing for me to read, I'm a big fan. Big fan. All right, Steve Ale, I'll kiss you on the face.
Well, we could give Steve Ale a tomato, right?
Tomato.
I mean, if you're gonna be an orange boy, you at least get a tomato, for God's sakes.
Oh, Emmy, thank you for the $20 super chat. Ryback gifted me a Chad Dukes fish hat for my birthday. Cheers, safe home, Charlie.
Oh, yes. The best gift you can give anybody. All right, Fish, to Fish Hat Summer. I can't wait to see. We're going to start Fish Hat Summer, Sean, I think right after the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not going to be able to keep it in my pants next summer.
I'm steamed.
Yeah, we just got to get you a fish hat that'll wrap around that giant fucking dome of yours. That's a problem that I have as well.
Struggle.
It's a struggle. Thank you so much, Emmy, and thank you to both of you for always watching. Please hit the like button to start us off correctly.
Oh, Laura Reuter, thank you
right,
for the $10 super chat. No, I'm joking on air. Laura Reuter, thank you for the $10 super chat. Need some fun in light of today's horror.
I completely agree, Laura, and that's hopefully what we're here to do and provide for you. Here's some fun in light of today's horror, although this is kind of a horrific video.
Oh, yeah. What the fuck is going on?
I would think the floorboards would find that horrific, Sean.
Fairfax's own natural disasters.
Man, you ain't lying. That was a crazy night that night.
That was a good one.
It was fun. Thank you so much, Laura. Very kind of you. Appreciate the support as always.
Steve Ale, thank you for the $20. I'm Tom O.B. Jr. Tech scares me. I'm pouring one out.
Okay. All right. Well, look, I don't want to tell you your business, Steve, but if you continue sending $20 super chats, I've heard that gets you up to speed real quick on all things technologically. And of course, since you've sent in two $20 super chats, we get to tell Sean what we really think of it.
And well, guys, if I could still show you around, here is the biggest, gayest man in the world.
Wow.
So gay. So gay.
So dumb.
So stupid. Oh, boy. Thank you so much, Steve Ale. Quick reminder, we will be live Friday night for Solid Dudes. That video is already up, so before you get out of here, make sure you go to youtube.com/Chad Duke Show and hit like for that bad boy. It seems like a lot of you have already found the code. I think I just threw up in my mouth. But for those of you that haven't, I would beat a hasty retreat from here over to CommonwealthHoy.com, and I would grab yourself a copy, an advanced copy, an above and beyond copy of Feel the Power 3 dual CD exclusive episode. Not only do you get a signed copy of the CD before all the pores and normies get their hands on it. Now, contractually, you're obligated not to share what you hear with anybody else. You're going to want to because it is a fantastic episode. But you also get that big bad boy in the upper right-hand corner. And, Sean, I know you're particularly proud of this, the 4-inch vinyl biker prawn sticker. I gave you some of these last night. Did you hand them out to friends and family, I assume?
Yes, I threatened. Now, my chick did not want one on her car. I can't imagine why. But she has one there. She's just got to learn to love it.
You gotta learn. You don't have to like it, but you better learn to love it. That's what Sean always says to his chick before she starts crying. Not only do you get a signed copy of the CD before the pores and normies, not only do you get a biker prawn 4-inch sticker, you also get one ticket to try the latest collaboration between the Chad Duke Show and Fair Winds Brewing, the beer that we are releasing November 8th out at Fair Winds Brewing. And what I'm going to do is, if you see on that card right there, it says, "From the desk of Chad Dukes." This is my personal stationery. And on that card, I will write the date and time of which the tasting is. This is a private event. You can only come in if you get the Above and Beyond edition, and you have to bring your invitation or we will throw your scandalous ass right out of there. I've got the Goon Squad already reporting to Fairwinds. But if you're lucky enough to come suck that beer right off the fucking, that big-ass goddamn cannon of a flagon that Charlie's got back there, one of the greatest beer drinking experience I've ever had. So all of that is included in the absolutely outrageous price of $100, which is how much of the Above and Beyond costs, because you're going above and beyond. So there is a link at the top of the chat, and there is a link in the description of this video. Take advantage, man. Take advantage. Should be a good time. Yeah, man, I think everybody will enjoy themselves. Let me turn the Wi-Fi off. There we go. Hold on just one second, Sean.
All right.
Hey, Siri, turn off the Wi-Fi. I hope I didn't just bone everybody that was listening.
and then half the viewers they're gone now.
Oh no, we lost it all. It's all gone.
I just realized this is my first time on YouSchoode.
Well, I don't ever have people on YouSchoode. Like, YouSchoode is just me.
Right, I'm here.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. I've had lots to discuss. We were caught in the same traffic jam today. I wanted to talk about that. But here, clip this. Spread the word. All of you little Reddit fairies, whatever you want to do. I spoke with Drab T-Shirt. I spoke with Matthew Robert Cahill, who is a dear friend of mine and a person that I'm a giant fan of. And I can't give you any details, but here's what I can tell you. And I okayed this with Drab, and so I know we're in the clear. Drab is who we thought he was, and everything is exactly the way you think it would be. And he's doing fine. He's doing well. I'll leave it at that. If you had any concerns, if you had any, I mean, he's going through it right now. And I won't get into any details. his business, but I talked to him. He's doing well. And if you were concerned at all, I was never concerned about the man's character. I was never concerned about who he is. Some of you were. I was not. You should feel better. I spoke to him, and I think you should feel better. But I'll leave it at that. It was great to talk to him, and of course, wish him well. And I will be there for him throughout for anything that he needs in the coming weeks, months, and years. Very good. I know you were happy to hear that, Sean, because you're a big Drab T-shirt fan.
Of course. I mean, even though I think that Drab never really liked me, I liked Drab.
That doesn't mean anything. Drab. I don't think Drab really likes me.
Yeah, I think. Right. I guess what I should say is Drab wasn't physically attracted to me.
Yes.
So we were never friends.
It's a great point. Like, unless you had a 31-inch waist, Drab is never going to be that close with you.
Right.
Do you want to guess where he was when I spoke to him? This is so funny. He was playing tennis with a twink. I swear to fucking God. It's like we haven't been. It's like he's exactly the same place he was when I met him in Arizona in 2006. I said, if that twink's name is Kent, I'll never speak to you ever again.
Right. We're done. I'm hanging this phone up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He's
man.
a good boy. I love that. I love that boy. All right. Oh boy, we got fucking orders coming in. Look at this shit.
Oh,
Come on, let me and Sean do a show, for God's sakes. We can be entertaining. Largemouth Ass, thank you so much for your order. Alan Woodard, thank you for your order. Ronald Allison, Steve Ale, Tim Herman. This is ridiculous. Lori Wagner, Kevin Parker, Adam Kinnaman, David Stroll, Marcus Hodges, Doxed, Matthew Fuchs, Kim Partika, Justin Hurt, Kyle Lee, Thomas Holzenberg. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
What?
William Daywalt, Nathan Farley, Thomas Christ. Jesus Christ.
This is a lot of people that I'm going to have to kiss. Well, I mean,
Sold 18 of those motherfuckers in the first 5 minutes of YouSchoode. Holy shit. God damn. There's a limited amount, so if you want one, I would get one tonight. It looks like they might sell out, which I did not think would be the case.
Lori Wagner, thank you for the $20 super chat. Thank you for your words about Drab earlier this week and for this update. Glad you were able to talk to him.
Yeah, I felt bad, Lori, because I went to go pick up the Feel the Power 3 today, and as is customary, Sean, I stopped at the Apple House and I ordered the Wildcat. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, that is a marble rye bread, spicy mustard, and then some of the most tender pastrami that I've ever had in my life. It comes with the red hot crinkle cut fries, and it's just one of the best. I can never stop I'm sure you have this problem, Sean, where you eat your food so quickly that just came off of the heating surface, you just destroy the upper part of your palate. Like there's no skin on the top of my mouth right now.
And you'd think both of us should know better. This is not the first time you've done it. I've done it 1 million times in my life. And it ruins my eating experience for at least a full day. I should just wait 5 minutes before I shovel the delicious hot food in my mouth. But when it's that, and I saw a picture of this, it looks amazing. I was very jealous.
Well, I mean, you should be. No one's lunch is good. And Lori, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of the $20 super chat. You are a mensch, and thank you so much for your generous order on Commonwealth Dry Goods. Some guy was bitching about the fucking meat, the lack of meat on this sandwich. When I tell you there was 1.5 inches to 2 inches of pastrami in the middle of this bad boy. It was absolutely fantastic. And Sean, I've had this sandwich every time. Every time I go down to Front Royal to pick up a CD, I have to do like the Devil's Threesome, where do I go to Anthony's Pizza X? Do I go to Spelunkers to get a burger? Or do I go to the Apple House to get the Wildcat? And the Wildcat is on the way out of town, so a lot of times I end up getting that. I have been murdered by this sandwich 12 times at least, and I still can't stop myself from shoveling it into my fat cake horn the second it gets sat on the fucking table.
I don't think I've seen anything more beautiful than that sandwich ever. And it is a work of art. Look at that thing in the marble rye. I mean, it looks, oh, God, I got to go. I got to go get one.
When Monk was still our friend, I begged him to steal this sandwich. I said, Monk, just steal this. Apple House does an amazing job. I give them free plugs all the time. They don't care if I live or die, but I don't care either. They make me happy. But I'd rather like Monk benefit. I guarantee he could do just as good a job, if not better.
Oh God. Okay, so you get a beautiful marble rye, the
Yes.
pastrami brisket, and you go crazy with them. Maybe
And what are we doing?
You get him to make a really spicy ground mustard. Oh my God, what's he doing?
I don't know. The only criticism I have of this is I always forget to order extra pickles because I want like 24 of those sliced dill pickles that they give you with it.
It's like, hey, you're gonna give me 2 pickles with this sandwich. I need a cup of pickles, please.
I fucking kick the door and I go, do you realize the pickle size hail has descended on you? Now give me more pickles on my Wildcat sandwich, you motherfuckers.
Son of a bitch. Wes, thank you for the $20 super chat. More Shoot and Sean, less pores.
Okay. All right. I like that. I mean, pores are welcome to watch, but yes, more of us and less of the pores is really...
I'm butt-sized.
Butt size for that $20, Wes. Thank you so much. Consider going over there and grabbing your above and beyond copy. Links in the chat and in the bio. Thank you, Wes, and thank you to all of our super chatters. This is great. Super chats are accepted on this channel, so if you are having a good time and wish to show thanks, we appreciate it. Sean works for free. All right.
Hi. Well, look. I mean, you know.
Hey, we get a Venmo, I'll pay you. How about that?
There's fringe benefits, you know.
Dude,
I come over to your house and force you to order me more pizza, and then I don't eat it and leave it with you.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. That's like payment, though.
I didn't see that coming. All right, so a couple of things. Sean and I both, for some reason, you were driving from Front Royal or out to Front Royal today?
From, effectively. So, like,
Okay.
my commute to work takes me down to 66 there.
I still have no idea how West Virginia works now hearing you say that, but I believe you and don't think you're a filthy liar for this. There was a horrific tractor-trailer accident where there was it was on fire. The thing was a smoldering husk. It did not appear that there were several vehicles in addition to the tractor trailer involved with it on 66.
Yeah, I mean, when I got up there was definitely parts from vehicles that were A, different from each other, and B, certainly weren't part of the tractor trailer.
Right.
Now, they were towed away, the main part of the car, but there was parts, it was bad. I mean, it looked to have been pretty bad.
It was unfolding as I was heading west out to Front Royal, but I expected it's like I'm going to pick these CDs up, I'm going to have some lunch, and then on the way back, it'll all have been cleared up. I couldn't have been more wrong. I hit the traffic, and of course, it's not just this horrible accident. It is the absolute scumbaggery of the, what are they called? Wacky wafers? What are they called?
The looky-loos, the rubberneckers.
The rubberneckers. I mean, the people that, and like, guys driving big trucks, like blue-collar guys. Like I would assume the stupid soccer moms and the Phillies Karens, like, they're going to look at everything. But, like, people that I assume have some place to be, they're all leaning out after we go down to one lane of traffic, and it's just abysmal. And then, of course, you get up to the wreck, and there's probably 2 people actually working on it, and there's 14 people leaning on shovels and looking at their cell phones, and that's our tax dollars at work. But the reason I bring it up is I noticed this guy. He was to my right and to your left across the radio dial. I've never seen a rape van in real life, Sean.
This is looking rough.
Sure. If I told you he was blasting With or Without You by U2, would that make it even creepier? This guy right here. Because that was his poison that he was out on the radio.
What? How, you can't be cruising down the street in that van with your arm and your large watch on your wrist, wearing a black glove, blasting U2.
Sure.
You just can't.
Well, at first I just thought, that's odd. And then I took this photo, and I became a little more worried because
I might know that person.
Well, that's what I was worried, is that he was maybe a member of your motorcycle club. But why is he wearing gloves while driving? Why are there
set on the dash too?
There appears to be 5 different skulls on the dash. Is that a skull bracelet too, Sean? I believe that it is.
Yeah. I might own something like that, or have in the past.
A lot of body art. Not that I like the stereotype. I have tattoos myself. But this combined with this being the vehicle. And here was the crazy thing is I was trying desperately when I got up beside him to get a picture of his face. Because if he had face tattoos or God forbid was wearing a ski mask or something, like I want to document. I pulled up behind him. I never saw his face. He was leaned back so far. It was like the fisherman in I Know What You Did Last Summer where you could never see the guy's grill. Do you think I was being overly paranoid, or is there human trafficking going on here that I should have reported?
This guy sounds professional. I mean, he's leaned so far back that you can never see his face.
Yeah.
I mean, he's wearing gloves while driving. He has another pair of gloves to the left of the stalls.
I was hoping you saw the bonus gloves there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's... Okay, look. Are all people with tattoos all the way down their arms and skull bracelets and possibly part of motorcycle clubs murderers?
Body parts in the back of their rape vans.
Right. They can't all be criminals and murderers. Is this guy?
Yeah, I don't know. What is if you take a look to the upper left corner up by where the sun visor is, what is that white plastic thing up there? Because it kind of looks like a Phantom of the Opera mask to me.
Okay, so that's a reflection of something that's on the dash.
It is?
Yes. So
but it's not one of the skulls.
It's something. So you can kind of see that green thing to the right
Right.
in the picture, and it's in something, and I think it's in something white, and I think that's a reflection of whatever that is.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean,
Slider says relaxing to you two after committing mass murder is crazy. Yeah, it's a strange vibe.
It wouldn't be my choice.
It's not what I would do. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that the Lord saw fit to put me next to that guy, and I thought maybe I was charged of dealing with some sort of a mystery, but luckily the traffic freed up after an hour, and I decided to just go on my merry way.
I mean, I don't think you can look and dress that way and drive that vehicle. Right? Like, I don't think that's an option.
And yet.
Oh, Danny Diaz, thank you for the $2. I ate that lunch with Benny Alvarez once.
Do you know Benny Alvarez? Benny Alvarez. I think what Danny Diaz is referring to is the time where Ted dressed up as Benny Alvarez, was a character in Scarface that is never seen, and showed up at Flying Ace Farm for a Chad Duke Show event.
He dressed as Benny Alvarez, who not only is he's not seen, he's mentioned, I believe, that one time.
Yeah, when they're counting the money in front of the fucking the cop. Seidelbaum. Save your breath, Seidelbaum. Why would he dress up as Seidelbaum? At least the guy's in the movie.
Who knows how Ted's brain works? I mean, his brain is truly a mystery.
I didn't know the D-Man. Apparently the D-Man is besties with El Tubo, with Matt Tubo Dotson. I had...
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
The D-Man?
That's what I was told. I was told Tubo's going to Maine or Rhode Island or wherever D-Man lives, and they're meeting up for drinks or something.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea.
That's crazy. So Danny's got to be into the heavy metal, too. He has to be.
You swear he likes heavy metal. He likes the same fucking gurgling slime core that you like. This disgusting fucking pig growls and vomiting.
Yeah, heavy metal.
Yeah, whatever. Heavy metal is Judas Priest, brother. I hate to fucking...
That was 1981.
Yeah, there were songs that people could follow. It wasn't just guttural fucking Viking moaning. Terrible.
It's tremendous.
So a couple of things. I wanted Sean here. He's got a bit of a time crunch, so I wanted to get to this while he is still here. I don't know if you're aware of this, Sean, but Jim Jester, my producer, is 450 pounds. And he drinks less water than you do. And I know you have a standing policy where no water that isn't bubbly water will pass those lips. Is that true?
Yes, I would say that's 90% true. Like occasionally I allow myself to get so dehydrated that I require any water. And then I will take anything. But you usually find me with a Polar or any sort of bubbly water, Liquid Death. So it's got to be bubbly. It doesn't even have to be flavored, but it certainly has to be bubbly.
there is no worse and better feeling that when you've allowed yourself to become so dehydrated that just gulping water out of the tap is like the most satisfaction you can possibly have. But then you just realize I am just an unhealthy fat pig. I've clearly been eating sodium all day and neglecting myself to get into this state.
In 2025 in the modern world, that should never happen to any adult. Like, there's so much water for you to consume. It's so easy to drink water. However, like, think about how often you find yourself so dehydrated that you have to drink a gallon of water.
Sure.
It happens to me at least twice a month, like to that severity. I go, well, this is crazy.
It happens to me because I ride the Peloton, and then but I eat horribly still, and I still drink alcohol, and you don't. So I am wretchedly fucking dehydrated on a constant basis.
It's so unhealthy for you. Like, being dehydrated really ruins your life, and we do it constantly.
Yeah. So, but you and I are Prefontaine compared to Jim Jester. Like, the only thing he drinks is diet soda and non-alcoholic beers. Like, that's the only thing that I've ever seen him drink. And we used to do a bit with Tor, where Tor would literally go to the back in the piss sink, fill up a fucking canteen, and then bring it out to Jester and make him drink it, because it was the only time that he ever got any water in.
I forgot about that. It's like, all right, Jim, since this is the only time you're going to drink water, here is this liter. Let's hope you live one more week.
There's a town in Arizona called Drinkwater, Arizona, and I guarantee they would run fucking Jim Jester out of there with pitchforks and torches like the like Frankenstein monster. So I texted Jimmy earlier today, and I said, Jim, I want you to drink 2 glasses of water, and I want you to tell me how it goes, and I want you to record a video. And so he did that. The first video came through vertical. Swear to fucking God. If you listen to today's episode of the Chad Duke Show, you'll realize how hilarious that is.
Well, you must have asked for a vertical video, right?
I asked for a landscape video, Sean, because I wanted to play it tonight on this show that we're doing, which made it all that more confounding.
What?
We aren't even at the punchline, but this is the video that Dum Dum sent me. And to his credit, he did what I asked. He drinks 2 glasses of water. I did not realize, though, that today he would be working at the Crest Star in downtown DC. Jim has somehow figured out a way to have an hour-long commute to go roll nickels at a Crest Star. I don't understand it, Sean. Like, you have a long commute, but you earn a decent wage so you can live above your means. Jim having this lifestyle is confounding, to say the least.
I thought that he was basically done driving into the city for a minimum wage job. What is he doing? He doesn't need to be there to roll up 5-cent pieces.
How about this? I'd rather be going through what Rabbi's going through right now than what Jim Jester's going through right now. That might not be politically correct, but I fucking stand by it. All right, let's have a gander at this.
Hey there, boy. Ant-Man tentatively.
Okay, here's the first problem.
What?
I don't know if you noticed it, Sean, but this is the lint ball hoodie, the lint ball sweatshirt. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with this product, I bought Jim a 5XL personalized Titans hoodie so that he would never wear this hoodie again, because it's covered in so many lint balls and cat hair that it just makes him look completely unprofessional. I guess he wore this to work. You can also see that Jim has entered the lazy phase where he has not trimmed his head. He has not trimmed his beard. The big, long, white hairs coming out of the pube goat. I don't think Jimmy's in a real good place right now, but judging from this video.
He does not appear to be, no.
No, it's rough. And that's just, I mean, that's before we've even seen it. First of all, look at the bags under the eyes, the sadness. He's hiding a lot when he comes in all jolly to the Chad Duke Show.
I can't get past the hoodie. Why is he at work in an office in a hoodie? What is he doing?
I don't know. Don't people go to Crest Star? Don't they want like fucking deposit slips and the checks cashed and shit like that?
Like, I wear a hoodie at work. I work on cars. You know how much of the public I deal with? Zero. You know how many professionals I deal with? Zero.
And also, you gotta cover all your white supremacist tattoos. If they find out about those, you're done for. If Meineke finds out about those, there's no way you're changing out any fucking windshield washer fluid ever again.
They won't let me put another blade insert in a day in my life. I'll be run out of the business.
Oh my God. Yeah, Sean is the Pep Proud Boy. That's what they call him out of his fucking work. That's horrible. That's fucking
The
horrible.
worst.
All right, let's see how this goes.
Hey there, boy. Ant-Man tentatively tomorrow.
Is it snowing where he is?
Right, where is he?
I don't know. He's like on top of a fucking building like Spider-Man.
He's on top of the building. It looks frigid and snow. I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt today at work. I mean, I work outside.
I walked the dog in my jeans. I was sweating buckets by the time I came back. It was so fucking warm out. Where is he that he's snowing on a rooftop? He's Jon Snow.
It's like in Boston.
All right. We got to get further than 1 second into this video before we spurg out.
Hey there, boy. Ant-Man tentatively tomorrow is gonna.
What does he say there?
I don't know. Why use the word tentatively if you cannot pronounce the word tentatively? Why does he do it?
There's words I don't know, Sean. I don't say them. Like I taught LeVar that one time. I was like, he would do this bit where he wouldn't know a guy's name or he wouldn't know a player or something, and he would just be like, "Who's that guy that plays for the Calgary Stampede? You know, the running back." And I'm like, now we both look like idiots because I don't know who the motherfucker is either. I was like, just veer off, but don't even go down that path.
Right? Don't do that. Like now we both don't know, and here we are.
Oh God,
He's just throwing out words like, I mean, he has a hard time with orange. How dare he attempt to say tentatively?
It's a great point.
Hank R, thank you for the $5. Hotel booked for 11/8. Let's fucking go.
Oh shit!
Hell yeah!
Fuck yeah, Chippa.
Now that's good thinking.
And at the risk of muddying the waters with all the plugs, oh Jesus fucking titty! This is not. No one needs to see this right now. Let me remove that, and I'll put this up for our buddy Hank. Let's talk about your daddy. Tell me how your mama loved that man. What in the fuck is going on over here?
What's happening?
Just StreamYard is StreamYarding its ass off. Like it's never StreamYarded harder than it has today. And like I'm desperate to fucking make it work and do what it used to do. And it's just impossible.
It's so strange. The StreamYard updates are to give it a lot more functionality like some of the other software. But
yeah.
What made StreamYard great was that any knucklehead could use it. And now it's getting more challenging. We're like, well, if I'm going to use something this complicated, I'm going to use something better.
Well, that's what I was saying is like, if it's going to continue to operate in this manner, like, hold on, let me do this bit. Nope, that is definitely not what I wanted. Oh, there we go. All right, we're fine. This is what Hank was talking about. We were going to be releasing a beautiful beer on November 8th out at beautiful Fairwinds Brewing. It'll be great to see you there, Hank. I hope you're bringing a lovely lady if you're going stag, whichever you prefer. Thank you so much for the support. It is very, very kind.
Oh, Ryback, thank you for the $5 super chat. Just purchased the autographed CD for Emmy's 40th birthday.
What?
Thank you for making her smile today.
Let me go ahead and take a look. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Ryback. And please wish your lovely lady happy birthday from us. If you guys would like to both come out to the beer tasting, you are more than welcome.
Happy birthday. Yeah, September is a good month.
It is a good month.
Mine's
Well, except
coming
for
up
all
in a few days.
the current events.
Drinking beer,
Yeah.
maybe for a day. Who knows?
All right, let me again, fucking StreamYard. I'm going to fight through you.
Hey there, boy. Ant-Man tentatively tomorrow is gonna stop drinking.
Tentatively tomorrow.
Listen,
Does he get it out, or does he say? Is he clipping? What is that?
even think about this, how that sentence would sound if you said it normally. Ant-Man tentatively tomorrow is going to, like, it's already a mess. Like, Jim, what are you trying to say, buddy?
I'm telling you, this is how I had to strip him of his duties from writing the descriptions to the daily episodes of the Chad Duke Show. Like, he can't be trusted with it because tentatively tomorrow is beyond his grasp.
Hey there, boy. Ant-Man tentatively tomorrow is going to stop drinking beer. Maybe for a day, who knows. So today, I'm going to start drinking water. I've got two cups here.
2 gups. What does Ant-Man tentatively stopping drinking beer tomorrow have to do with him drinking water?
I guess if Ant-Man is going to break his 15-day drunk streak,
Iron Man.
that means that Jim is going to start drinking water to I don't know, to get as healthy as Ant-Man is. I mean, I don't know.
This is a tough nut to crack already, and we haven't even gotten to his review of the tap water, I guess, in Washington, D.C.
One straight from the spigot from our nation's capital.
Why does he make spigot sound like a racial slur? Like, how does he have the ability to do that?
Only Baltimore, it might be.
I guess.
From the spigot from our
I got to hear that one more time.
two cups here. One straight from the spigot from our nation's capital.
It's like two different slurs, too.
And the other that's also from a spigot, but it's filtered. We'll see. So straight from the spigot.
How many times does he say spigot here?
Right, maybe say tap. Straight from the hose. I don't know. Pick something else.
He's got to read a book, Sean. Like, the way you develop a more varied vocabulary is you expose yourself to different words. And then perhaps then after working in a spoken word business for the last 25 years, you too could sound like you're not a complete depraved moron that didn't graduate from. Where did he graduate from? University of Phoenix? I think that's his alma mater.
Doesn't he have, like, isn't it worse than that? Like, sure, he has University of Phoenix, but didn't he also go to the Connecticut or Columbia School of Broadcasting? And didn't he also go somewhere else? Hasn't he gone to 3 shitty non-universities?
He's got $25,000 dumped down the asshole of 3 degrees that will never get him a job anywhere as he's rolling fucking Susan B. Anthony dollars.
From our nation's capital. And the other that's also from a spigot, but it's filtered. We'll see. So straight from the spigot.
Look at those nails.
Jim, I mean, what's it going to take? What do we got to do? We've shamed him.
I've never seen a man with nails like that. They look like mall kiosk French tips, and he's such a fucking mess with everything else, but those nails are... Well, they're way too long. We'll leave it at that. There's got to be so much disease from all the scratching he's done from under. Look, you swear I'm not speaking the truth, but they are immaculately clean, Sean. I mean, look, he must spend an inordinate amount of time on those nails.
Well, he hasn't worked what, from rolling nickels? I mean, he doesn't do anything as far as, like, it's very strange. Why won't he just clip his nails?
I don't know. It's like the easiest thing to do. And the problem with dudes usually is they're chewing on the nails, right? Like they do it too much.
Right. That's my problem. I got no nails.
He's got those big fake teeth. Like I guess maybe he's getting a lot of vitamin D because his teeth and his nails are immaculate and the rest of his body is just completely bloating and exploding.
Where is he getting any vitamins from? The Royal Farms chicken? I mean, it can't be that.
Maybe it's just that one arm that goes out the window when he commutes from Baltimore to Fairfax. He's just absorbing all the vitamin D and the sun has to offer.
His left arm and right arm that look like they belong to 2 different people. I mean, they're so different colors.
Look at that middle finger and look at the pad of the middle finger, Sean, and how like the fingers are actually quite thin, but then he's got this bulbous fucking it almost looks like a fever blister. And then, of course, as we've noted, the fingers are 3 shades darker than the rest of his body. I can't figure it out.
I mean, God, we could... Damn it, Jim. Do something, please.
How would you not be depressed working where he works? Look at that building behind him. I mean, they didn't even give up. That might as well be a penitentiary.
It might be.
It might be. Look at that fucking pinky nail.
It's so long.
Yeah. Look, you could see it from the bottom. It's a Coke nail.
Right.
You think Jimmy's doing?
He's not doing that. No, he can't be. He's bigger than ever.
Oh.
I mean, look, I was still...
It's so fucking mean.
Look, I was still fat when I was doing cocaine, but I wasn't this fat. All right, because you go, a day or 2 and you don't eat. There's breaks in there.
No, I don't think that's happening here. Look how tortured he is.
Now look, this is DC tap water. It might be the worst thing ever. I don't know. You've had it.
You think if you'd have the same facial reaction if you had a bottle of Fiji water, Sean? Whatever your fucking poison is for bottled water, Liquid Death, Dasani, whatever.
It's like kryptonite to Jim.
He can't carny that up. Look at the revulsion on his fucking face.
Oh yeah, he hated it.
Yeah, taste straight from the spigot. All right,
That's the 7th spigot that we've gotten. That we forgotten.
let's do the filtered water.
So this is, why is he so out of breath?
Jim just can't drink water. I mean, it's poison to him.
Oh my God. He is at a level of distress that is fucking unmatched by anyone consuming 2 cups of water.
He's out of breath. I mean, he looks miserable.
Does it look sour to him? I feel like that's what it looks like.
This water's so tart.
Yep.
I gotta say, the water down at the Outer Banks is pretty nasty. It's probably the worst water I've ever had outside of staying in Phoenix, because Phoenix has no water, so they got like bust it all in from fucking Oklahoma, just traveling through rusty pipelines. And I still would never make a face like this. Especially his body, Sean, has got to be yawning out for any type of fucking hydration.
Well, yeah, he definitely needs it. I mean, it should be refreshing. Like, even if it tastes bad, when you're as thirsty as Jim must be, because, again, he does not hydrate at all. He doesn't underhydrate. He's zero hydrates.
Zero hydration. Gatorade would not want him as a spokesperson.
Tastes the same. Iron, very metallic-y. Gross.
Is metallic-y a word?
That does not seem right.
Does he mean metallic?
Yes, it could be metallic tasting, yeah.
So much lip smacking.
Yep. Tastes the same. Iron, very metallic-y. Gross. Why do you guys do this to yourself?
Does he mean drink water? Also,
No.
I don't mean to make fun, because far be it from me to make fun of somebody's appearance, but I think we've discovered the dent in the side of his head before.
Yeah, he looks like that painting with like the wavy head and
The Scream painting?
Scream, yeah, that's what he looks like to me. That's all I see.
But how come, like clearly this side over here, our left, his right, is way more dented than the other side, right?
Yeah, he has an insanely shaped head.
He sent that over, and I was just like, I can't even believe how much there is here, and it's just 2 minutes of him drinking water on a rooftop. Why is he on the rooftop? Like,
How does Jim create so much content?
I don't know. That's why I can't fire him. When you become the executive producer, we got to keep him around in the cuck chair.
He does so little. L Mouthash, thank you for the $2. LOL at Jimmy affording cocaine.
Well, you know, he gets paid from me. I don't know where that money goes.
Well, it goes to the DoorDash.
Well, that's probably true.
It's got DoorDash payments. You know, they're putting it on the Klarna or whatever the hell it is now.
So now I know you're up on it, but I wanted to show you this. On today's episode of the Chad Duke Show, Sean regaled us with a story of Jim being asked to take a video in horizontal mode on his phone, landscape mode. Everybody knows what that means. It means this. This is vertical portrait mode. This is landscape mode, right? Like, everybody understands that. Jim does not. Jim confidently and consistently told everyone he was taking a video in landscape mode or was it vertical mode? We wanted it done in vertical mode, and he had it in landscape, and we found out he does not know the difference, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we're going to do it in vertical there, boy. I got it. Vertical.
And he's holding his phone up, and then he would get more persistently more persnickety and put off that you were asking him why he wasn't holding the phone vertically. Is that fair?
Yes, he's holding it. Like, all right, so we're going to do it in vertical, right, Jim? Like, I thought he was getting pictures for something else. I'm like, but the video, vertical, right? He goes, yep, vertical. I go, okay. Are you ready? Vertical. He goes, yeah, like this. And like shakes the phone at me.
And that's where we left it. To the extent where we named today's episode Vertical, because it was said so many times that there was really no other thing that we could have named, no other term or noun, homonym, made sense for us to name the episode that. So what you have to understand is Jim is so terrible at spelling, grammar, word placement, just a general sense of the written language. that I have had to strip him of his duties writing a description for the episode of the Chad Duke Show to go up on the website to let people know what it's about. So I'm fucking sitting in a car accident. I'm sitting in this traffic jam that we talked about earlier. Where I showed Sean the pictures of the serial killer sitting next to me. And Jim's asking me for the description for today's episode. And I sent over a text. I said, Jim, it kind of sucks that you're my producer and I can't trust you to spell or write anything. And to his extent, he was like, I'm sorry, dear boy.
Right. I mean, he still won't read a book, but he is sorry. Sure.
He's sorry, but he won't do anything to change it. So I write up a fucking description as I'm driving with my knees 2 miles an hour trying to get past this wreck. I send it over. I don't think anything of it. I start getting messages from people that are listening to the episode. And they're saying things like, is the title of today's episode a bit? Are you guys doing some sort of a bit? And I said, no, what's the title? And they said, well, it's supposed to be vertical, right? And I said, yeah. We had this big, long conversation about Jimmy not knowing the difference between horizontal and vertical.
Right.
So I went over to iTunes and I pulled up the episode. And this is how Jim Jester spells vertical. Sean, when I tell you he was responsible for one word for this description, and that one word he fucked up. I'm really at a loss for words. I know it's funny, but I can't take anything more away from him. I physically can't.
And we talked about it on today's show. Jim is so confidently wrong, it's upsetting. Like you want to punch him in the head.
Yes.
And why is his default to not just assume he's fucking wrong?
I don't know.
Why? Like, there are aspects of my life that I'm horrible at. But I know that. And I go, if I think like this, I must be incorrect. Like, because I'm bad at this. I don't know anything. I should talk to somebody else. But this applies to all of Jim's life. He should always default to, I probably don't know how to spell vertical because I don't know how to spell plum. Like,
why doesn't he run everything through? But if you're I know I'm not a good speller, but I run everything through spell check that I possibly can to try to mitigate all of my fucking unforced errors of being a boob. How has he not learned that lesson?
The crazy thing about, like, I probably don't see the word vertical all the time, but you look at it and go, that doesn't look right.
No, it doesn't.
Right, and you just go, I better check. Right? Like, there's words that I'm not confident about spelling, and I spell it, and I go, man, that doesn't look right. And sometimes it is right. And I go, well, I'm just a dummy. What do I know anyway? But most of the time, I go, of course it doesn't look right because it's not spelled that way. There's a U hidden in there, or whatever the fuck it is.
It's just confounding the inability to learn from mistakes. I've never been around more people that suffer from the same issue. It's like, if you can fuck up, everybody fucks up constantly. But you got to at some point learn from them, and that unfortunately doesn't happen. Oh, this is a god tier avatar right here.
Rooster Cogburn, thank you for the $2. I love that his profile pic always changes. Time for a new profile pic.
I mean, so he must have taken a screen cap already and then switched that up. I fucking love that.
Rooster is so fast with that.
I mean,
it will have just happened, and his profile pic, if you look at the chat, will have already changed. He's a wizard.
Oh, that's fantastic. You got to go, right, buddy?
Yeah, I better hop off and check in. I don't think I've spent any time with my chick in a while.
All right,
so
go over there so she doesn't fucking call the cops on you.
That would be good. All right, buddy. This was fun, Jim. The gift that will continue to give for eternity because he cannot learn.
Most assuredly. Thank you, bud. There he is. Biker Sean, everybody. Follow him on social media. There's underscores. There's numbers.
Yeah, but if you search Biker Sean, who else could you possibly find?
Who else could you possibly find, bro?
Gotta be me.
All right, buddy.
All right. Later, buddy.
Later. Enjoy your large pizza. I assume there's going to be a large pizza somewhere. Don't worry, I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you. I may be left by everybody else, but you can't get rid of me. Hank Reuter, thank you so much for the order of CommonwealthDryGoods.com. I wanted to announce, before we get to anything else, the art contest that we are going to have. And you can send in your art to the Chad Duke Show, and we're going to have a prize. And we're going to officially announce it on Monday for details, but I want to give you guys a heads up in case you want to start. You're going to have a very difficult time beating out DC Sports Mark, but the theme of this contest is very straightforward. We have an episode, a free episode of The Pores, the Chad Duke Show Pour Edition, going up on Friday, iTunes, Spotify, everywhere you find your podcast. It is FREE, and you should grab it because it's a really good one. I bust Joe Azer and Jim Jester's balls, but they've been doing a great job. I think Schrock is helping them. Sounds great. It's a fast show. It moves. It's kind of covering a lot of ground of some of the better bits that we've done, conversations that we've had on the Chad Duke Show for the first 4 years. And it's a great way to introduce normies to what we do behind the paywall. So whenever you can spread the word about that, leave the 5-star reviews, share a link with a friendo, that's great because it helps people check out the show, and then maybe they become subscribers, and then maybe they start coming out to events, and then become a part of what we do, which would be fantastic. The only thing I want, I don't have grand designs of gigs or rejoining the fucking mainstream populace. If it were even possible, I'd like to grow this a little bit. That's pretty much all I have that I want to do, and I think this free episode will help that. So there's a great episode coming up on Friday, and you guys will get it for free. I think it's going to beam straight to you. Please feel free to look for spelling errors and grammar problems in the description. I would love to have that pointed out. But one of the segments, spoiler alert, that's going up is a segment that I had completely forgotten, that we forgotten about on that we had done on the show years ago. And that was the aforementioned Jim Daddy has an aversion to onions. And it led to speculation on the show. He hates onions so much, but cheese and pepperoni would be nice, that it's crippled him in certain areas of his life. And one day we speculated on the show that Jim Daddy hates onions and has an aversion to them because the onion-headed man forced his way into Jim Daddy's house, tied up Jim Daddy and his father with telephone cords, and then proceeded to have passionate, consensual sex with Jim Daddy's mother in front of both of them as they were tied up. It's just one theory. I don't know if it's true or false. It certainly felt like it was at the time. But as I was listening to this segment and I was laughing uproariously, I came to realize that we never did enough with the onion-headed man. And that's why I immediately contacted DC Sports Mark, and I said, listen, I need you to come up with some artwork for the onion-headed man. And while I waited for him, I went over to Grok, and I typed into Grok, my prompt was, please create a villainous onion-headed man. And this is what Grok came up with. Which to me is way scarier than what I thought in my brain. I mean, this is the fucking stuff of nightmares. We are reviewing Wishmaster on the Fortress Film Society tomorrow. This very much looks like the Djinn from that movie. So there's that. And then I started getting the returns from DC Sports Mark on what the onion-headed man could look like. And this is one of the better ones. Reminds me of The Orb. For those of you that are Marvel Comics readers, The Orb, only instead of a giant eyeball, it's just an onion for a head. I like this one quite a bit. But he kept them coming, and this probably is the strongest one we have so far. So, yeah, we're gonna move ahead with this project. We're gonna have a full-blown art contest on the Chad Duke Show. We're going to have a cash prize or some exclusive piece of merch. I don't know what it is, but we'll be starting that next week. You're more than welcome to use AI. Everybody can, and if it's a great one, then it'll be a great one. The only other art contest we did is of course, the scene where Jim is usually our muse, Sweet Daddy James. When he went to sleep while there was a gang warfare going on outside of his house, We had an art contest for that, and I think the one that won that was somebody that actually used colored pencils, I think, or could have been watercolor. You will get extra credit if you actually paint, draw, sculpt, whatever your talents lie in, the onion-headed man. But if you don't have any talent, I can relate. If you just want to use AI or Photoshop or any of those canvases, you will be able to do that as well. Okay, so just get out ahead of that. This is going to be our next big art contest on the Chad Duke Show, and I want you guys prepped and ready to rock and roll. DC Sports Mark, $1.99. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for the verbal nod. Of course, it's very good work. Very good work by you, and a good jumping off point for everybody involved in this particular outing. So, yeah, check that out. All right, cool. Let me just get up to date on everybody. That's it. You guys are being so generous. Again, if you would like an above and beyond edition of Feel the Power 3, they are available to you now. There is a limited amount. I think the max is 30 that we can actually take out to Fairwinds. You can check the link at the top of the chat or in the description. Of course, Mike Sleep got a copy. Thank you, Mike. I didn't even know you were in the chat today. And Jared Tomlin, all the way from Arizona, doxed. If you want to make the trip out, brother, of course you get your CD and your Biker Sean sticker. But if you want to make the trip out, you are more than welcome to come try the beer. We do not discriminate for people from other areas of the country. Okay. Do you guys want to do... I got 3 different things I want to do with you. Do you want to do Bill Belichick? Do you want to do cave diving? Or do you want to do the documentary that I don't think you should be watching? I'll let you respond in the chat. But those are your 3 options on where we head next on YouSchoode. Do you want the Bill Belichick segment? Do you want the cave? I've pulled another great cave diving fucking video for us to watch and wonder who in the fuck is actually doing this. And then, of course, the entire episode was based on the documentary that I don't think you guys should be watching in your personal life. So sound off in the chat. Let me know what you would like to hear, and then we will go with that moving forward. After I fucking... Maybe I should forward this goddamn... I'm thinking I should forward these pictures of this guy in a rape van over to Loudoun County Police, wherever that would be. Well, a lot of people like the cave diving. Yeah, I feel like we found our niche whenever we watch the videos of these people basically committing suicide. It's a huge bummer. But people really seem to like it. All right, let me see if I can pull this up. I'm sure we have time for several different things, but these are always fun. So, for those of you that have never been around for one of these, there's a website, or excuse me, a YouTube channel called Scary Interesting. Millions of views. Highly suggest you check it out if you like being terrified, you like having claustrophobia, and we've reviewed several of their videos about cave diving. The purpose of cave diving evades me. We've chronicled many times, even if you like to have your endorphins up, you want to get that adrenaline pumping, shoplift. Try to pick up a hooker. Go downtown and buy a dime bag, like in front of a cop. I don't know. There's dangerous things you can do. Go bungee jumping. Bungee jumping has to be infinitely safer. Does jumping off of the top of a rock quarry into the standing water below? I mean, that's probably one of the most dangerous things in the world you can do. Squirrel suit? Jumping off the Alps in a squirrel suit? These are all things I see people die like a motherfucker with, right? I still feel like all of it has got to be a better use of your time and less risky to end your time here on this planet than cave diving. It just seems like the most ridiculous fucking thing on earth. And so that's why it's with a bit of whistling past the graveyard that we like to watch these people and not make fun of them, but make fun of them. So there's 2 on this one video. There's one cave in England, and there is one cave in Venezuela. And I won't spoil it, but one of them ends up okay. for the most part. There's still a lot of problems that I have that I'm sure we'll get to. But, yeah, if you can take a look at the title, it says, they never made it out of this suffocating cave. I mean, just zero fucks given to the comfort of your viewers. I got beef with this YouTube channel.
On paper, Wookiee Hole sounds like something out of a family day trip brochure, which, to be fair, it kind of is.
Does Wookiee Hole sound like a family day trip brochure, or does it sound bestial? Does it sound like you want to have sex with some sort of a Sasquatch, Peter Mayhew type of a person? Not sure if I agree with this opening analysis.
It's got all of the hits: underground rivers, bizarre rock formations, a cave-aged cheese tunnel, and even a legend about a witch who was turned to stone. It's located in Somerset, England, and is one of the oldest show caves in the country. But beyond the tourist-friendly trails and electric lighting, Wookiee Hole becomes something else entirely. It's actually one of the most complex and unforgiving cave systems in Britain. Only roughly 2.5 miles or 4,000 meters of it have been mapped so far, but that doesn't mean it's tame. Parts of the system can only be accessed by diving through long, narrow underwater tunnels.
What, like, if a woman will let you put your tongue in her nether regions, I don't want to be graphic. This isn't a show for kids, but I don't like to gross everybody out. God forbid she lets you head around the back to them haunches. Like, if you've got one of those in your life, why on earth would you need to see this map of this cave system and decide, I need to submerge myself in icy cold water and risk becoming a permanent resident? What about this is in any way intriguing? Did any of us figure out the reason? You guys that have watched these with me? None of it adds up. Have any of these people, they must have forgotten about the fried ice cream at Chi-Chi's. If these people have had the fried ice cream at Chi-Chi's, they would be working desperately to recreate that. I saw there was some sort of crowdfunder where they're looking to bring back Chi-Chi's, I think in Minnesota. Hope Ethiopians like it. I would be investing my sweat equity in that rather than diving into this absolute pig fuck.
Some of which can drop down steeply or twist unpredictably into deeper chambers.
Wookiee Hole.
Visibility can also go from poor to zero in an instant, and water temperatures hover around 52 degrees Fahrenheit or 11 Celsius all year.
52 degrees Fahrenheit. Is there any place warm and dry in England? I mean, fuck. The sun never set on the British Empire. The sun never sets. The sun never rises. Everything's boiled. Why do they have so many Muslims trying to take over their city? There's got to be a better city to take over. I mean, I can't even believe it. Does any water get above 60 degrees Fahrenheit in London? Least surprising aspect of this particular cave is the fact that the water is frigid.
Here, it's essentially just dark, disorienting, and unrelentingly cold. The River Axe flows through the cave system, disappearing underground before re-emerging outside. And this river is actually what carved out the chambers in the first place, slowly dissolving the limestone over thousands of years. It's also what makes this place so tricky. The water can hide entrances and even block exits. Interestingly, people have also lived in the caves, including Neanderthals, Celtic farmers, and Roman settlers. Animals have too, including a species of cave hyena that no longer exists.
I got news for you. Neanderthals are still finding their way into this cave.
All of this combines to make a place that's old, strange, and soaked in history. Over time, it's been a home, a sacred site, a source of water, a place to hide, and more than once, a place where people have disappeared.
Yeah, I was going to add graveyard.
Cave diving in Wookiee Hole started back in the 1930s, back when divers were basically strapping oxygen tanks to themselves with rope and sheer optimism. A few of them helped map new chambers and figure out what kind of gear would actually work in these harsh conditions.
To what point? Like, I understand pushing west on the Oregon Trail, like trying to find land. You're an old 49er and you want to go out to like an undeveloped part of this country and locate gold. I even understand the guys that go out on those big oil rigs in fucking Louisiana and just work a really dangerous job. Like, you know, you get hazard pay. What benefit has humanity ever received from mapping out an underground cave? You can't build condominiums there. You're never going to be able to create any new and more effective gas station dick pills by finding some sort of a subculture in there. I literally can't. It defies logic. I can't see one logical explanation for why this has ever taken place, much less in 1935 when they just. By the way, they said they're strapping an oxygen tank on them, having too much optimism, and dragging a rope behind them. I gotta be honest with you, the technology's a little better, but it kind of describes exactly how they're still doing it in 2025.
Since then, technology has improved, but the risks haven't really changed all that much. For divers, the name Wookey Hole still carries a certain weight of part challenge, part warning. James Gordon was a 24-year-old ex-Royal Marine known for being sharp, disciplined, and extraordinarily skilled underwater. He'd racked up more than 500 hours of dive time, which in the 1940s was no small feat. In open water, he was practically untouchable. At this point in his life, James didn't have much cave diving experience. In fact, his entire record consisted of just one previous cave dive in a different system altogether. Still, based on his military record and reputation, he was fast-tracked to explore one of the most difficult sections of Wookey Hole.
That's smart. I bet he makes it.
Normally, divers were expected to complete at least 2 practice dives to the 7th chamber before going deeper, but the team made an exception for James. One warm-up dive was enough, and then it was off to the 9th chamber.
By the time you get to the 9th chamber, I'm sure you encounter the RZA, or at least maybe the liquid swords. I don't know how far along in the chambers you have to get until you see Dirt McGirt, but it's probably much further towards the 36th.
On April 9th, 1949, the team made it to the 9th chamber without incident, even doing a brief check on chamber 11 while they were doing that. And so far, everything was going well. On the way back, though, the team decided to split into 2 groups. 2 of the divers took the shorter, more direct route to chamber 3. James and another diver, Bob, then opted for what was known as the second loop. This is
It's so strange, like the trope from all the horror movies of don't ever split up. Like you encounter that in real life. Like you encounter that in the actual tangible, functional world where it doesn't always end in devastation, but quite often that it does. You're in a murky cave filled with water with a dude that has done this only once. How about we all stick together and nobody takes the scenic route? I realize that's pussy talk. I'm a beta male. I'm the type of guy that when the Philly Karen comes rolling up on me, I'm just going to hand that ball back, even though my son desperately wanted to have it. That's me. And that's how a player's got to be. But I guarantee I would have a better chance if I found myself with 3 other jagaloons inside of the Wookey Hole of making it out alive. That's a bold proclamation. I stand by it.
a longer path that connects the 9th chamber to the 8th, then back around. It wasn't an unusual decision. They had enough air, the path was known, and James was eager to take the scenic route back. Inside the 8th chamber, though, visibility dropped. The silt in Wookey Hole is notorious. One wrong kick and it's like diving into a mudslide.
Luckily, he found a Perkins down there, so he was fine. It was right next to the Stuckies.
Bob even thought briefly that his light had actually gone out, but it hadn't. The cloud of mud around him was just that thick. Still, he pressed on, his heart beating just a little faster and his hands a little colder, assuming James was in front of him. When he reached chamber 3 and found the others, though, he immediately realized that James wasn't there.
Yep.
A search party then quickly re-entered the cave, and they found James not far from the guideline near chamber 6, head down and unmoving. They then realized that his oxygen tank was empty and his counter lung had collapsed.
Counter lung. You got to watch out for when that counter lung collapses. Write this down. I know Corey Reed is keeping track of my funeral songs. I need somebody else to be in charge of keeping track of the things that I will never be in need of. And at the very top of that list, 1 and 1A, is a counter lung. If there's any activity that requires me to be well versed in the usage and tactics of a counter lung, I'm out. I'm going to Fuddruckers and I'm hitting up that Fixins bar. Oh, they're going to throw me out because I'm going to take so many pickles, so many banana peppers. I think Fuddruckers, I've personally put several of them out of business because I'm so prolific with the banana peppers and the pickles at the Fixin bar. I fuck them up. Roy Rogers, it took decades for them to recover because of the hurting that I put on their Fixins bar. You put out a Fixins bar, guess who's fixing it up? The Shootster. So instead of needing, is it an aqua lung? Hey, aqua lung. Nope. What happened to Dukes? We've got his tank and his mask right here. Oh, he's at the Fixins bar, stealing massive amounts of banana peppers.
Even worse, he had a reserve tank with him that he must have dropped at some point. Essentially, he had run out of air and never made it back. Sometime later, they checked his equipment and found a fault in his test pressure gauge.
Sure.
This might have given him a false reading, convincing him that he had more air left than he did. For the team, it was devastating. While some chalked it up to bad luck or technical failure, others couldn't help but feel the cave itself had a role to play.
Yeah, the cave did have a role to play. I got news for you. The cave always has a role to play. It's why I avoid them. Hold on, we're in this silt-filled cave. This mud-choked cave. The water's 51 degrees. Do you think the cave had a role to play in this skullduggery? Spoiler alert. I bet this cave had a role to play. It's probably that rock witch they were mentioning it the first time. It's not imbeciles walking into a watery death. That's what it always is.
People started saying his spirit still lingers in those chambers, drifting along the same guidelines he followed in life. Either way, James's death left a lasting mark on Wookiee Hole's diving history. It was sort of a turning point, a moment when even the most confident divers were forced to take a step back and take a more serious look at cave diving as something else entirely. By the time Keith Potter entered the caves in 1981, Wookiee Hole had already earned its reputation.
George, this is Potter.
Keith, unlike James though, was no cave diving rookie. He had been through the system before, and he knew exactly how serious it was.
What's wrong with his head?
That day, he was diving with a group of seasoned cave divers, including Martin Farr, who, if you know anything about British cave diving, is basically a living legend.
Do you think when he was in grade school they called him Martin Fart? Do you think it's possible?
Their plan was straightforward: dive through the long sump between the 9th and 19th chambers. It was a haul, but it also wasn't new territory for Keith. He had done it before. Now, there are two ways to make it through the sump. Keith chose the lower route, which is deeper but less complex. Martin took the upper path, which is a little shallower, but
It's strange that these two split up as well, and they were met with an unfortunate fate. Nobody could have predicted it.
trickier to navigate. Keith set off first, and everything was normal. Visibility wasn't great, and it rarely is down there, but nothing alarming. He was wearing 2 wetsuits layered together to guard against the cold, since Wookiee's chilly waters can suck the heat right out of you. Just like James, though, when Martin surfaced at the other end of the sump.
How the fuck do you put on 2 wetsuits? Are wetsuits not the clingiest material of all time? It certainly seems like that whenever I see anybody surfing or boogie boarding or God forbid, scuba diving. How do you get a second wetsuit over your first wetsuit? And how do you not have some sort of pause that perhaps I should find a warmer place to scuba dive?
Keith wasn't there. At first, it didn't cause any concern in Martin, but as the seconds dragged out and then minutes, the word began to grow. Suddenly, Martin spotted Keith, but something was terribly wrong. Keith was floating just below the surface, still underwater and not moving. His mouthpiece had slipped free no more than 10 feet or 3 meters from open, fresh air. Martin then immediately dove back to him, and the others in the dive group weren't far behind. They pulled Keith from the water and started CPR right there on the stone floor of the cave. They would go into work for almost an hour, trading turns and refusing to give up. But
Imagine what that scene's like. I mean, you're beating on a dead guy's chest for over a fucking hour, mouth to mouth. Ugh.
Keith was gone. No one could say for sure what happened, but there were theories. Maybe he'd exerted himself a little too much near the elbow of the sump, where the
Can you imagine if, like, plane travel, you know, you're learning to become a pilot and you're an expert, like that guy was an expert, and you check all the boxes and you do everything that you need to do, and you've even flown this route before, but inexplicably your lungs explode. Like, there's just so many, like, even for dangerous activities, if it's well sussed out, researched, and we've been doing it for a while, you're going to be okay. I don't know how many of these diving videos we watch, but all of them are like, oh, his respirator exploded. We don't know why. Oh, yeah, I mean, he'd done this 100 times, but then he had a massive heart attack on the way down. It's just, if reps don't mean that much, then you probably should find some sort of a diversion where your seasoned experience has a greater impact on the results. That would be, this thing that I'm eating right now is too spicy for me. I'm not going to be able to fucking breathe. I'm going to have vicious acid reflux. It's a real dumbed down version of it. But this really does feel like not knowing your own palate. Overconfidence certainly seems to be something that is pervasive amongst these guys. You'll see this clearly in the cave in Venezuela.
Passage tilts sharply upward. Maybe he tried to push through too fast and couldn't catch his breath in time. Meanwhile, others thought the cold finally caught up with him. His friends remembered that Keith's wetsuits had seen better days, even with him wearing 2 layers. In water that cold, it doesn't take much of a chill to sap your strength and slow your mind.
Imagine.
But the truth is, no one really knows what happened to Keith. One minute he was swimming, the next he wasn't. These days, most people
That's kind of how underwater death works, I assume.
still know Wookey Hole as a family-friendly attraction. For most visitors, it's an afternoon of lighthearted fun, something to cross off the vacation list before moving on to the next stop.
Do you mention to your children how many people died beneath their feet?
But the parts open to tourists are just a fraction of what lies underground. Beyond the walkways and railings, the cave system stretches for miles, twisting through tight, flooded tunnels and massive chambers that few people ever see. The River Axe still runs cold through the rock, just as it has for thousands of years. And even with modern equipment and experienced divers, the risks haven't gone away.
I don't mean to disrespect like Earth's majesty or nature's power or this looks like a set from a Disney ride. I really don't see that much difference. Like if there was animatronic pirates on the other side of this cave, it would make just as much sense to me and I probably would enjoy it more. Where's Jaws popping out of the water? That's what this looks like to me.
Cave diving continues at Wookey Hole, but it's approached with a lot more caution now. Access is limited to highly trained divers who plan every move carefully. And while technology has come a long way since the early days of exploration, even today some of the system remains unmapped, and some sections are simply too difficult or dangerous to explore.
And there's just motherfuckers, aspy motherfuckers with OCD up the yin-yang they're just going to continue to cannon fodder style dive into this place. Oh, there's unmapped areas. I've got to be the one. Yeah, okay, you go do that. We're not sending anybody in. I just wish there was a policy of you're allowed to do whatever you want. You're a God-fearing American or a limey Brit in this case. We're not sending anyone in after you. Nobody else will be risked for your nonsense.
Gustavo and Eduardo were...
By the way, that won't be the case with Gustavo and Eduardo. I don't want to spoil it for you, but Gustavo and Eduardo will end up needing assistance.
Excited as they looked over a crinkled piece of paper with hand-drawn sketches on it. The 2 men, 31 and 30 years old respectively, had gotten their hands on something extremely valuable, at least to them. During a British diving expedition in their home country of Venezuela in 1973, a diver had purportedly made an unexpected discovery while exploring the underwater chambers of Rito de Acarit Cave. Afterward, the diver drew up a crude map from memory of the path to a large underwater lake that no one had previously known about. It's unclear exactly how the map got into the hands of Gustavo and Eduardo in 1991, but there it was, and it was a chance to explore something very few had witnessed. So few, in fact, that many locals who had heard the story of the secret lake's discovery actually disregarded the idea as fake.
Imagine not being stimulated by liquor and drugs enough to go to Venezuela and look for a hidden underwater lake. I can't even explain to you how good vodka sodas are. Vodka with some club soda, especially if you got a nice Grey Goose, Kettle One, Tito's. I got this Scotty's vodka that a listener brings me from Maryland. Very crisp, very clean. I like to get a lime wedge and I get a lemon wedge because I'm indulgent and I'm a fancy man. I can't even explain to you how much pleasure I derive from mixing up one of those bad boys. God forbid I'm even watching a new movie. The other night I watched The Naked Gun. The remake of The Naked Gun, a film I hadn't seen before. Had a couple of these magical elixirs. Laughed my balls off at Liam Neeson talking about shitting himself after eating chili cheese dogs. I was so satiated. You might be surprised that not even once did exploring a fictitious underwater lake in Venezuela. Now, I heard Matilda should take my money and then run Venezuela. I did hear that. But that's just a rumor, too. Sing the chorus! No Harry Belafonte fans, huh? Yikes.
But from the moment they got their hands on the map, the 2 friends knew they were going to explore it. The cave itself is primarily an underwater cave located just 60 miles south of the city of Coro. Interestingly, to add to the excitement, the cave was well known within the community of cave divers, so it had been explored countless times, but even still, there was no mention of some massive, breathtaking
Where do you film stock footage like this?
underground lake inside. For the two men, this made it even more exciting, and they were planning on seeing it firsthand. Now, it should be noted that while neither of the men was certified in cave diving, both had a wealth of experience as open water divers. Gustavo was a certified diving instructor, and Eduardo had similar credentials, but as you probably know by now, these only serve to create false confidence. To make things worse, the British diver who first mapped the cave was so impacted by the silt inside the cave that he made a note of the fine mud that turned the surrounding water into soup with the flick of a fin.
Seems to be a constant. By the way, is it just don't go bungee jumping in Mexico? They don't have the regulations down there. Is that what it was from Dumb and Dumber? I always forget. Hit the like button, you sons of bitches. Who else is making fun of people dying in horrific ways the way I am?
It's unclear if the two men understood the significance of this note, but even if they did, they clearly thought it was a risk worth taking. After
Why?
finalizing their plan, they started to share it with their friends, expecting them to be just as enthusiastic about the dive as they were.
I bet they weren't.
Instead, though, they were met with warnings and pleas for them to reconsider. When it was clear that the two men were dead set on making the dive, some friends suggested they bring in an American cave diver who had the experience and knowledge to guide them. But the two men brushed it aside, almost taking offense to the idea.
Yeah, why would, of course you should take offense to the idea that someone that is learned and capable and has a skill that you don't could potentially make your trip a little bit healthier, a little bit more safe, have your potential for continuing to suck air into your lungs be higher. He's American, though. Fuck him. Absolutely no way we can have that.
Yeah. In their minds, they had diving experience, and they had a map that made the journey look like a straight shot. In their estimation as a team, it was a sure bet they'd come out of the cave having confirmed the presence of this supposed underground lake. On Saturday, July 13th, 1991, Gustavo, Eduardo, and a handful of their friends trudged through the dense Venezuelan jungle on their way to the mouth of Rito de Acarit.
I hate to keep touching on the same theme, but if the activity requires me, personally, to trench through a dense Venezuelan jungle, thanks but no thanks, right? You know where I'm going to trench through? I'm probably going to trench through the line at the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A. They've got a new pretzel bun sandwich that's fantastic. I like to get the grilled chicken patty with the Monterey Jack cheese and the bacon. Little pickle and lettuce on that bad boy with the fucking waffle fries. Huh? Get that buffalo sauce that they have, the little cups of buffalo sauce. Do you know that they'll come around to your table and ask you if you'd like a refill on that Diet Dr. Pepper? And guess what I don't have to do to get all that? Trudge through a jungle in Venezuela.
One of those in attendance was Maria, Gustavo's girlfriend, who was visibly apprehensive about the dive. And understandably, no amount of assurance or consoling from Gustavo would alleviate her concerns.
You got a girlfriend and you're doing this? I just assumed that you had no one in your life that cared about you.
All the way until the two men stepped into the water, she begged Gustavo not to go. And when it was clear that her pleas were falling on deaf ears, she pulled out a piece of paper that she had written a prayer on and wrapped it in plastic to protect it from the water. She then handed it over to Gustavo, hoping that it would help keep him safe.
God bless her. I'm guessing she saw Jesus Cristo in a pancake earlier that morning. Bobby Double L, thank you so much for picking up your above and beyond edition of Feel the Power 3. Much appreciate you, my friend. Always so generous to the Chad Duke Show. Yeah, it's been a fantastic night tonight. Absolutely good shit. Everybody's being very, very generous. And then, what the hell else? I've gotten so many goddamn orders. If I didn't fucking mention your name, please feel free to pipe up. Definitely want to thank everybody. Daniel Connor, thank you so much for coming correct tonight. Placed a beautiful order on CommonwealthDryGoods.com. You guys are the bee's knees.
By 8 p.m., the two were ready to get the dive underway, and shortly after, Gustavo and Eduardo disappeared into the stream that runs into the cave.
Look at this.
They had no clue at that moment, but they were already in deep trouble. Although they had correctly tied a rope to the entrance to find their way back, they didn't know that it had either broken or come loose as they made their way deeper. But
I mean, you don't get a rubber rope. What type of rope are we using? Are we using the rope that Sly Stallone had in Cliffhanger? Sliding off the edge? Remember he goes into that goddamn gift store on the... I never understood in Cliffhanger, there's a gift shop on the top of a mountain. He goes in there and he finds a sweatshirt that's able to keep him warm in the Arctic temperatures while he's fighting John Lithgow. And then there's the world's oldest rope. He's able to use that to fight the forces of evil, kick them off the sides of mountains, and eventually crash a helicopter. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen fine film that is Cliffhanger. I believe they're rebooting it for God knows what reason. The one thing you should be able to control is, let's get a really strong rope. We're going to look for mystical underwater Venezuelan lakes. Let's get the best rope they have. This is the 90s. Probably have decent rope.
In any case, their dive got underway in relatively clear conditions, and visibility started out at about 10 feet or 3 meters of distance. After making their way through the main tunnel, one of them spotted an air pocket ahead, and the two friends surfaced inside it. This should have been the first indication that something was wrong, because this air pocket wasn't marked on the map. Initially, this didn't appear to bother them much, but then they tried to pull on the guideline, and it was full of slack. Then, as soon as they ducked beneath the surface as well, they discovered the giant silt-out they had made on their way in there. Now, this might seem like a relatively easy thing to deal with. You just wait until the silt settles, but often it can be days or even longer before all the sediment resettles and visibility improves. Both of them now realized the trouble they were in, although neither of them panicked just yet. Eduardo was pretty certain he could feel his way out, and he encouraged Gustavo to follow him.
Wouldn't it be great if they just started jacking each other off?
He then crept along the wall of the cave using his hands, and after long enough,
Are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking?
miraculously, he found himself at the entrance. It's hard to describe just how lucky this was, but as he caught his breath and his friends gathered around him, Gustavo's absence was overly apparent. Eduardo then looked at Maria and asked where Gustavo was. The worried look on her face then morphed into one of both disbelief and anger at hearing the question.
Oh my God, she knows that we were jacking each other off in the silt pile.
A second later, she blurted out that Gustavo was supposed to be with him. Eduardo then looked back at the cave entrance and watched in hopes that his friend would surface at any moment. But the stream was calm and there were no air bubbles to indicate Gustavo was on his way.
He was in his refractory period.
What none of them knew at the time was that when Eduardo left the air pocket to start feeling his way back to the entrance, Gustavo descended to follow him but got tangled in the rope. After untangling himself in the murky conditions, he turned the wrong way and took himself deeper inside the cave.
What a fucking nightmare!
The clear conditions ahead of him should have tipped him off to this, but in the moment it never crossed his mind. He then swam in the wrong direction for a while until he came across another, much larger air pocket and surfaced. He expected Eduardo to surface in the pocket right behind him, but after waiting for a few minutes for that to happen, it was clear the two were now separated.
See, when I was first watching this, I don't want to spoil it for you, but this was the point where I was so convinced that this motherfucker doesn't make it out that I'm like, how do they know all this? How do they know what Gustavo's thinking? Because clearly his lungs are exploited on the underside of this Venezuelan cave. That should be a spoiler for you.
And for a moment, Gustavo couldn't keep the fear down anymore. He began to panic and shouted Eduardo's name inside the air pocket, but the sound was swallowed by the water and rock that now trapped him there. After a few more moments of this, after his thoughts raced about what to do, Gustavo got a hold of himself and returned to a calmer state where he could think things out more clearly. There was a way into the caves. There was obviously a way out of the cave. He just needed to think it through and come up with a plan. He then took out his diving knife and carved an X into the rock inside the air pocket to denote that he had been there. He then submerged again and swam underwater to try to locate a tunnel, but surfaced after bumping into a wall. He then carved another X into the rock and tried again. Then after that, over and over, he went under only to surface when he inevitably came into contact with another wall.
Can you imagine trying to keep your fucking composure while this is going on? I mean, drowning is one thing, but knowing you're going to drown has got to be the worst thing. Everything leading up to, I mean, drowning's got to be uncomfortable. It's got to be awful. You're watching your life pass before your eyes, whatever. But I assume it's only 30 seconds, 45 seconds. The fucking descending and increasing dread of being in that situation. Looking around and realizing, well, I've got some air, but I don't know where I'm in. And there's absolutely nobody coming to rescue me. I mean, I would have full evacuation in the wetsuit. That fucking image alone is enough to keep me out of the ocean, much less, I mean, maybe a swimming pool. I think after doing these videos and covering them here on YouSchoode, I think I'm only going to be comfortable sitting on the stools in my pool. Did you guys know I have stools in my pool? And not the kind you have in your pool.
Soon his surroundings were covered with X's, and he still had no clue where even the tunnel that led him into the air pocket was, let alone the one that would lead him out. Worse yet, the second of his 3 light sources was on the verge of dying, so if he didn't get out soon, he was going to be trapped in complete darkness inside this unmarked air pocket. After doing this for what seemed like forever, he decided to change tactics. The large air pocket he was in did have some dry land available, so he climbed out of the water in hopes that he could preserve his warmth and energy.
Decided to change tactics. He just started doing burpees.
Also, not wanting to burn up his last light source, he sat there, shivering in the dark and holding on to hope that his friends would be with him soon to guide him out shortly.
What friends? Do you have like a fucking multiple friends that know how to cave dive into incredibly perilous circumstances? The one dude that was with you barely made it out alive after you guys jacked each other off.
Meanwhile, outside the cave, Eduardo had returned his regulator to his mouth and submerged into the cave again. He was going to find his friend, and he was going to lead him to safety. At least, that was his plan.
Yeah, I don't think he was.
It was very quickly realized that it was too murky and too dangerous. So with nothing else they could do, Eduardo and the group of friends held vigil at the entrance to Rito de Acarit in the dark jungle as they prayed for Gustavo to suddenly appear.
Oof.
At dawn, that still hadn't happened, and so Maria demanded that Eduardo drive to phone for help. After a long drive back to the city, Eduardo found the nearest phone and started making calls. One of these
Who do you call here?
was to his pilot friend, Fernando. Fernando's wife, Vivian, was a certified cave diver.
I like Fernando. He's fun, and he knows how to treat a woman. That guy had his hand all over your ass. Remember Tony goes in and punches Fernando in the face? You come back here again, I'm gonna wipe you all over this fucking... Imagine going into the bathroom where your kid's sister is doing cocaine with Fernando, and then you backhand her in front of everybody. Tony Montana probably exhibited signs that he had a bit of a violent personality before the massive shootout with the grenade launcher and, of course, Salsa's men.
Though it had been 3 years since she was inside one. As Eduardo described the scenario to Vivian, her heart sank. Based on the conditions, she knew she wasn't the right person to come and save Gustavo, but maybe she knew someone who was. After hanging up with Eduardo, she called the Spring Systems Dive Center in Florida, where cave diver Steve Gerard was getting ready to teach a cave diving class. Vivian had trained under Steve, so she knew that if anyone could rescue Gustavo, it would be him.
But he's in Florida, honey. What's a plane ticket from Florida to Venezuela fucking cost? TJ Evans, thank you so much for the 5 Chad Dukes Show gifted memberships. I hope you guys are enjoying those gifted memberships. You get the entire back catalog of all these shows, really. But Solid Dudes are all there. There's hundreds of episodes of that. TJ, thank you so much. Here's Naked Orgy on a skateboard.
I mean, that's just what we do around here.
Oh my God! What the fuck is going on? I don't think we've ever figured out how that works. I don't think we've ever figured out the physics of how Orgy was able to make that possible. DC Sportsmark, thank you for the $1.99 super chat and for being here. Oh, an additional thank you to TJ Evans for picking up an above and beyond copy of Feel the Power 3. Really appreciate you, brother. We have sold 25 copies. There are only 10 left. So if you were thinking about it and you'd like to try the beer before all the pours and the normies, hit that link at the top of the chat, or it is also in that description of this video.
When she explained what was happening, though, she was surprised at the response Steve gave. He was pretty non-committal about coming to Venezuela. Based on what Vivian was telling him, it all added up to the conclusion that Gustavo was probably already dead. Still, Vivian pleaded with Steve to get on the next flight before the two hung up. Rather than pack his gear and rush to the airport, though, Steve continued to get ready to teach his diving class.
I mean, that's kind of a dick move. I think you got to at least tell the broad, hey, I'm not coming there. Your boyfriend's dead. He never should have gone into that fucking hole. By the way, did you hear that I'm in Florida? Does he even have his passport?
As the day wore on with no word from Steve, Vivian called him back and was in disbelief that he was still in Florida.
She should have said the other guy would have jerked Steve off if he came down there and rescued her boyfriend.
The last flight to Venezuela out of Miami had left at 5 p.m., which had come and gone without Steve boarding. He continued to try to convince her that Gustavo was already dead, but neither she nor Fernando would hear of it.
By the way, the ignoramus that I am, if you would have told me that's where Venezuela is, I would have called you a goddamn liar. I was absolutely convinced that Venezuela was on the bottom southern side of South America. We would have fought about it. That's my level of ignorance.
That's when Fernando struck a deal. If he could get Gustavo's parents to pay the $10,000 for Fernando to fly to Miami, he'd pick up Steve and fellow diver John Orlowski himself and fly them into Coro. At this, Steve agreed, and by 10 p.m., both he and John were on their way to Venezuela.
I'm actually kind of surprised it was only 10 grand. 2 dudes, I assume they have to ship all of their diving equipment. Like, I'm actually really surprised that's all it was. DC Sports Mark, you thought it was too? Venezuela map. Let's take a look. No, we're both stupid. It is right where they say it is in the video. So what's the country we think it is? What's the country that we believe that fucking Venezuela is? Anybody know? Let's take a look. Matilda, sing the chorus. Matilda, Matilda, she take me money and run Venezuela. Really? None of you know that song? You guys probably only know shake, 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 senora, shake it all the time. And of course, Deo, misa de misa. People think that song is Deo. It's not. It's the Banana Boat song. I know that. Oh, Chile. Okay, I thought Venezuela was Chile. Oh, there's Bolivia. We all know who's from La Paz. Wait, Brazil is a big fucking country, huh? No wonder they're so good at jiu-jitsu. I got to fight to maintain. You got to get into so many heel locks to keep all that fucking territory. So many triangle chokeholds. I thought it was close to Chile. I did too. I love saying Chile. You know why salsa is so popular in fucking America? Because people like to say salsa.
They touched down around 5:30 on the morning of Monday, July 15th, and a few hours after that, they were at the cave entrance. The two divers then geared up and decided that John would lead and then enter the water.
How's this motherfucker?
Just like Gustavo and Eduardo before them, Steve and John made their way through the main tunnel.
Steven?
For them, visibility was somewhere only around a few inches. The silt hadn't dissipated at all. But because Steve and John were well trained for such a set of conditions, they barely blinked at the low visibility. A few minutes after starting the dive, the two surfaced in the exact same first air pocket that Gustavo and Eduardo found. Steve then pulled his regulator from his mouth and expressed disbelief and annoyance that anyone could decide to make this kind of dive. Conditions were so bad that Gustavo's body could be right next to them and they'd never know it. But either way, after a few more moments in the air pocket, the two descended one at a time and John continued to lead the way deeper inside the cave. Further down the main tunnel, with a little bit of distance between the two of them, Steve thought he could barely make out John flashing his light at him.
No way.
Finally, Steve thought they found Gustavo's body. Steve then surfaced in a second air pocket and immediately saw John standing there. And then just beyond John was another human stumbling toward them through about 2 feet of water. Steve couldn't believe it. Gustavo was alive after all.
He fucking lived. He doesn't die. This is the first. This is a first. How many of these fucking videos have we watched? Both of these E-tard rays lived. Who rescues them? The Americans. Fuck yeah. How irritated do you think these guys were when they thought, they look at all the silt and all the dirt. They're like, why is anybody down here doing this? Much less non-seasoned cave divers. And they fucking live. How long was he in there?
Gustavo then rushed to John and threw his arms around him before doing the same to Steve. After an initial assessment by Steve, who was still dumbfounded by finding Gustavo alive, he knew the first order of business was to get something for Gustavo to drink. All in all, he was in great shape for his predicament, but dehydration was setting in and getting him out of the cave alive.
There's only one thing he could drink, so he pulled his mule from his wetsuit.
Would be difficult if they didn't get some water into him first.
Why do I think these guys are all blowing each other, sulking?
Steve then tied off his reel so that the rope would lead him right back to the air pocket, and he started to make his way back toward the entrance of the cave while John stayed with Gustavo. As soon as he surfaced outside the cave, Steve shouted to the crowd that Gustavo was alive. In unison, everyone burst out to cheers and hugs, and while that was going on, Steve grabbed a little bottle of glucose water and headed back into the cave.
Glucose water sounds disgusting, by the way. Anybody want to give me a file on glucose water? It's the first time I've heard of that term. Anyone want to look it up?
Toward the air pocket. When he arrived back inside the chamber, he handed the bottle to Gustavo, who drank it all down. He would need more liquids, but at least his body now had something to work with that would last until they got out of the cave. They then discussed a game plan for their exit and determined that John would again lead the way and Gustavo would breathe out of John's spare regulator. Steve would then bring up the rear and
John would try not to fuck everything up again.
Hold onto Gustavo's leg to make sure that he didn't take a wrong turn somewhere. Thankfully, everything went according to plan, and soon Gustavo was sobbing in the arms of his loved ones after nearly 40 hours trapped inside the cave.
40 hours trapped inside the cave. I mean, that doesn't even feel like enough time. Those guys were in Florida. They're fucking teaching cave diving classes. The chick, Maria, had to Maria! She had to convince them to come down to Venezuela, take their money and run Venezuela. It doesn't even feel like enough time. But fucking, I couldn't believe it watching that video. Color me confused. Somebody actually lived. The guys that were going down there to rescue them actually got to rescue them instead of dragging corpses out of that bad boy. Probably with sugar, glucose, and electrolytes. Well, why not just say Powerade then, Laurie? Why are they making us fucking look up glucose water? Bobby Double L, 1999 super chat.
I'm butt-sized.
Butt-sized for that super chat. Thank you so much, Bobby. Above and beyond checking in, hashtag Orange Boys Mafia. You are always above and beyond, Bobby Double L. I saw your order come through, and I was like, of course. It's Bobby Double L. It's what he fucking does. You know I would just send you one for free. You know I would after everything you've done for the show. After you fucking got the wrist on chill. Thank you, brother. Always going above and beyond. And verbal nod to Joe Thompson. Maryland, doxed. Picking up not only Feel the Power 3, but a Thanksgiving on the Outer Banks candle and the toasted pumpkin crunch. You guys are being ridiculous. And a man in my position cannot afford to be made to look ridiculous. Thank you, Bobby. DC Sports Mark, $1.99. Thank you, bud. Dukes wouldn't win any geography bees. Absolutely true. 100% the case. Pretty good with America. I get a little twisted up with where Mississippi is and Missouri are. I thought Vegas was New Mexico for most of my life. Vegas. Nevada. I wanted to go out to Las Vegas and go to that haunted museum, and I was like, why are these flights 5.5 hours? And it's because it was much further the United States of America than I thought it was. I'm not proud to tell you these things, but it doesn't stop me from telling you these things. All right, what do we have time for? Let's see here. Oh, hit the like button. Our numbers are dwindling, but that don't mean shit to me. I have fun here with you guys, so hit the like button. We need to get over 100 likes, so there's no purpose to living life at all. All right, so this is a report. Even if you're not into football, this is more of a humanity conversation. This is a report about Bill Belichick, who, of course, now is the coach of the UNC Fighting Tar Heels. They won, we figured out, this past week against Charlotte. We didn't know there was a University of Charlotte. They're called the Hilltoppers or something. I have no idea. But, yeah, they got blowed the fuck out by TCU in their first game. And then this report came out that Bill Belichick was not allowing members of the New England Patriots to scout his players. This is a conversation that they're having on Pro Football Talk NFL on NBC about that story.
Reports this week of New England Patriots scouts being banned from practice. Just want to give you the opportunity to comment on that and provide some sort of explanation on that.
Yeah, well, no, it's clear that I'm not welcome there around their facility, and so they're not welcome in ours. Pretty simple.
It's a little dismissive.
Pretty simple, but pretty complicated. That was Bill Belichick from Saturday night. We didn't mention it yesterday during the program. I did a little video afterward about where this thing stands and how it's gotten here between Bill Belichick and the Patriots, since we have a guy who knows a thing or two about playing for the Patriots and playing for Bill Belichick. Devin, I just want to get your thoughts on what the hell is going on between Bill Belichick and the Patriots, how we got here and where you think it goes from here.
Yeah, man, I remember we talked about this last year. Of one of the things I think Bill said something after, I think it was after Gerard Mayo called the team soft, and I think I said on this show of I hated how this thing has all turned into a soap opera. Like, you take a shot in this interview and whatever publication, and you say this, and then he says that. I mean, this comes after Kraft says that he foresees a statue of Bill going up. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, man, we're finally at that point where maybe these two guys will stop trading shots and they'll just focus on where they're at and then, be able to enjoy the great memories that they did.
Here's the problem with that is that the Patriots fired Bill Belichick. They can say whatever they want, but they wanted to get rid of him. So it's very difficult to keep a good working relationship with an entity that told you thanks, but no thanks. And, of course, we all know that Bill Belichick was chasing after the most wins and the Bill Walsh's most wins in the history of the NFL. Or is it Don Shula? It's Bill Walsh, right? And so I'm guessing he would have rather done that in New England. I'm guessing he wouldn't have liked to have to go to fill in the blank. And maybe he thought that going to the Atlanta Falcons was in the bag. Maybe he thought that was something that was going to take place. There was a report, I do remember, that Robert Kraft had said something to Art Modell, the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, that led him to believe that that would be a bad hire. There was a report there. But let's talk about what's really going on here. There's two pivotal moments that have taken place here that have, I think, had the butterfly effect on Bill Belichick, and not for the better. And those two things are this. It seems pretty clear to me that in the debate of Shaq or Kobe, Belichick or Brady, you could still debate Shaq and Kobe, right? I think you can. I think that when you talk about one of the greatest big men of all time, one of the greatest guards of all time, there's more wiggle room. Tom Brady won that argument, did he not? Tom Brady has established himself that if you were going to have to put your reputation on the line, that one of those two men were more responsible for that unbelievable run, that dynasty. I'm Richard Nixoning right now. In New England, that it would be Tom Brady. After the success, he went on and joined, albeit loaded, Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, a team that's been good enough to win the division multiple times after Tom Brady left with a newly resuscitated Baker Mayfield. I think that was traumatizing to Belichick, more than he would let on. The other part of this, and again, I defended Belichick. I still defend Belichick. The people that want to shake their they want to tisk a woman that is of age where she could join the Marines and go die for this country. She could be put to death for a capital offense. She can own property. She can buy cigarettes. She could buy a handle of Smirnoff. If you want to fuck a 75-year-old dude, that's none of my business. I don't care what your kink is. I don't want to hear about Quentin Tarantino's foot fetish. Like, you're allowed to do whatever you want in your boudoir. It ain't none of my business. If you like older dudes for whatever reason, older dudes, like younger women. You don't have to worry about that. There's no shortage of that. You like men of influence, power, accomplishment, exposure. Women are attracted to different things than men are. I don't judge. These people that do, they all come across as he's to me. But that kind of changes when you have a very young girlfriend and she's out on the field with you coaching, you're releasing weird pictures, or you're flying her in the air like a little kid. I mean, they have a weird relationship. But no matter what's going on here, where Bill Belichick comes out and says something like this about the New England Patriots, I think that the schism, I think that the fucking base of all of these problems that he's having is one of two things. One is it's whatever happened in this discussion between Tom Brady v. Bill Belichick. And we think they're fine right now, right? Like they seem to have buried their hacks. Or it's Jordan Hudson. There's something about that girlfriend that has him acting in a way that he hasn't before. And people like to blame the girlfriend, right? Like people like to always, she's the Yoko Ono of football. But this is a grown man. This is a man whose image that he put out into the ether, that he put out into the world, was carefully guarded. He gave you nothing. He didn't wear things that gave you clues. He didn't say things that gave you clues. Stoic. Easter Island-like. And he meets this young chippy. Maybe she's not a chippy. She seems like a chippy. And it's fucking caused him to act in a way that he's never acted before. Now, when you get to a certain age, there's only so many ways that Bill Belichick can be validated anymore, right? In his world. Other than getting elected president, buying a franchise, I don't know what it would be. He's been to every mountaintop in his chosen profession. He's accomplished it all. A young woman being willing to submit herself to you sexually is enough to spin any dude out at any point in his life Unless they're Mick Jagger, right? Unless that's been a part of your life for your entire life. What percentage of the population do you think would qualify for that? How many lead singers of Aerosmith are there, right? Like Steven Tyler could probably relate to that. Bill Belichick can't. He's a married fucking man. We all saw his house with his wicker furniture. He doesn't know anything about this life. He's spun out. And I think whenever something strange happens with his behavior, it's not this conspiratorial fucking cabal of angry people about his relationship that might want to hypothesize it has something to do with it. So that was my first thought when I saw that. It's not just him acting differently here. Well, the Patriots, they don't want to have me there. Don't they? Because it sounds like that at least public-facing Mike Vrabel and Robert Kraft, is that what they're saying? All right, let's get into a little bit more. I want to get to the part where Vrabel's talking, because that is the most interesting part, because he actually was asked about this on Boston Sports Talk Radio after Belichick made these comments. And Vrabel seems like a fucking straight shooter, but I don't know that he's in love with Bill Belichick either.
Whether or not Bill Belichick is banned from the New England Patriots.
On Saturday night, Bill Belichick addressed the story that scouts from the Patriots were not allowed onto the campus to scout the Tar Heels. He said that he's not welcome here, so why would he allow Patriots employees onto his campus? Is Bill Belichick welcome here? And were you surprised that he didn't allow the scouts onto campus to scout his players?
Again, nothing surprises me. I would imagine that that Bill, I mean, he came back for, the best of my knowledge, Tom's ceremony, so that I guess he's welcome back based on the fact that he was there. So I'll just go by that. Since his departure as the head coach here, he's been back, and I'll leave it at that.
Problem is that that's slightly disingenuous. I understand Vrabel. I give Vrabel credit for answering this fucking question. He's in a bit of a tough spot here, and I give credit to the host for asking it. He doesn't know what Robert Kraft has said to Bill Belichick. He doesn't know the conversation they've had behind the scenes, I assume. But also, it's a little disingenuous to say, no, he's not banned because he's been back. Well, you don't have to be banned. Bill Belichick said he wasn't welcome in New England. People can let you know that you're not welcome in their home or in their business without calling the cops. That's what I was trying to explain to Jim Jester during the show this week. He came out and tried to make it sound like he was the guy that was sneaking Oscar and I into the fucking radio station to record Big O and Dukes back in 2004, whenever it was. And he's like, well, I never said that. Like, well, you didn't have to. We have the commonality of language. We know what inference is. We know what tonality is. We can understand what you're saying without you having to come out and say, I'm the one that broke into the radio station and helped these guys out. You wanted to make it sound like you did. We're not stupid. And so for Vrabel, he's kind of being quite literal here. Well, he was back for an award ceremony, so that means he must be allowed in the bell. Well, no. Bill Belichick can be made to feel uncomfortable in a lot of different ways.
Has he maybe been out shopping or something at Patriot Place and not allowed to walk this?
I don't know.
Does his key card still work?
Well, no. When you get fired, the key card does not work. I tried it. I went back to Tennessee. It doesn't work.
No. They call that a Mancini.
No, the fingerprint doesn't work. The key card doesn't work. No, that's not how it happens.
Imagine firing Mike Vrabel, not retaining Derrick Henry, drafting Will Levis, trading A.J. Brown. What would cause an organization to fall so quickly from the one seed in the AFC? There's only one answer. The Shootsters fandom. That is a goddamn onion. That is definitely, there's no core to that. That's layer after layer after layer. Well, maybe there is a core. I think the core is either Belichick is infinitely fucking impacted by the fact that he is not going to break that record. He will not be given another opportunity. Maybe if he wins out the rest of his schedule, which is very unlikely at UNC, he's got those buyout clauses. Maybe there's a team, there's an organization that would bring him in, but there's been so much buffoonery and tomfoolery surrounding that girlfriend. Now this, with the, I'm not going to let the fucking Patriot scouts come in and see my kids. You're going to deny your athletes an opportunity to get scouted by the New England Patriots. I don't clutch pearls about that. Patriots want information on a fucking UNC player. They didn't look like a lot of pro-ready players to me when they played TCU. But if the Patriots want film, they want fucking opportunity, they're going to get it. They're good at setting up cameras. But I think he's butthurt about not being able to sit there and eke out another 10, 12 wins to make a run at that fucking record. I think he's butthurt about the people, the consensus now saying it's Brady, not him, or more Brady than him. And then there's the batty chick. Batty chicks can do a lot of damage, man. No disrespect to you ladies. I'm not saying there's not asshole dudes out there too, but you all affect us in ways that I don't think we necessarily affect you. And perhaps that's more our burden than it is yours, but it doesn't change what is. What is Marcus Hodges, 12-month member. Thank you so much for being here. Late to the broadcast, but I got a massively discounted Feel the Power 3. Thanks for providing me the opportunity to get it. Suck it, locals. I don't think you need to viciously attack the locals. But if you want to viciously attack the poors, and the normies, I mean, you can certainly do that. You can absolutely do that. Thank you so much, Marcus. Good to see you. Actually, if you go back and watch the beginning of the show, I think I did give you a verbal nod when the order came through. Always appreciate you. You're fucking one of the most generous guys around. There's not a weekend that goes by where I look down and I say, oh, look, Marcus Hodges has fucking ordered something to support the store or has figured out a way to support the show. Greatly appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much for that. I think most of you are probably aware, at least I hope you're aware. But, yeah. Once these are gone, they're gone. Let me check. Check the final count. Yep, 27 sold. There are 8 left. So if you'd like an above and beyond extremely discounted CD, as Marcus pointed out, not only do you get the 4-inch Biker Prawn vinyl sticker, but you get to attend the tasting of the brand new beer collaboration that I have done with Fairwinds. It might be the best one yet. And I can tell you this, as much as Atlantico Amigos was the perfect summer beer, and I got 100% positive agreement with that. Everybody loved it. This is the perfect holiday conduit beer we're about to drop on your ass. You want a beer that's perfect for Thanksgiving and Christmas? You want a beer that's perfect for all these large epic meals that we wait all year long for? This is the beer. So if you order the above and beyond copy, I will write on your invitation the date and the time. And if you can arrange to be there, then you shall be there. Jesus, an orange boy as well. On top of all of it. Good Lord, the orange.
I just want to say, I get butt-sized.
Thank you, Marcus. 1999. And thank you for the unexpected shout out on both TMOS and Tuesday's show. What did I say on Tuesday's show? I remember mentioning you on Tomas. I heard, did anyone hear this? I hate to stir up any drama. I really have no problem with Mike not wanting to do a live show with me for whatever reason. I don't know what obligations he's under or what pressures his. I think his fan base politically is a little intolerant. So maybe they wouldn't like my presence there. I don't give a fuck. But somebody told me that he mentioned it on his show, that he was the one that canceled that. So if anybody can confirm that, I would greatly appreciate it. But you don't need to. I can do whatever he likes. Really, it's no hassle at all. All right, very good. Thank you to Biker Sean for joining me earlier. If you guys missed the beginning, hit a like, please. Hit the like button before we get out of here. If you missed the beginning of the show, we had some fun Jim Jester stuff. We did a fun cave diving video. Hope you like it. Leave a comment on the video. If you'd like to go back on all the YouTubes, YouSchoodes, all the videos that you see on the page, dropping likes, leaving comments. It helps more than you know. It's FREE. And it's just great for getting the channel above and beyond. We picked up like 10, 15 subscribers this week from people. I don't know why. I was very happy to see that. So thank you guys for helping to spread the word. I want to remind you, we will be back in full force Friday night at 7 p.m. Friday night, 7 p.m. Solid Dudes right here. Full cast. we will have the videos from Kevin Smith's trip with Big Stu Boris and Hot Man Ted to the Commanders game. And I tell you, it's some of the best shit that I have seen. Come out of Kevin Smith. Come out of anybody providing content for the show. You're going to love it. You're absolutely going to love it. I'm very, very excited for you guys to see that 7 p.m. And additionally, you want to talk about free fucking content, brand new episode of the Chad Duke Show Pours Edition going up Friday. iTunes, Spotify, any place you get your podcast. Great job that Joe Azer and Jim and all those guys did. There's some great episodes, including the Onion Man, the Onion-Headed Man. Remember, the Onion-Headed Man art contest kicks off. Cash prize. Fucking gonna be great next week. Covered a lot of ground here tonight. Still got to give you the notes. Kevin, I appreciate it, but you're a good man for doing this, and I'll always have your back, but you have to know your limitations. You struggle on the mic, so you taking notes is great, but what's better is you taking video, because then I can play the video on the fucking show. But please send me the notes, regardless. I don't mean to attack you for providing content to my show. Thank you to all of our super chatters, and seriously, thank you to everybody that went above and beyond already to support the release of Feel the Power 3. It's fantastic. Already it's been great for the brand. I can't believe I just said that. Please erase that from your brains. Please don't let that be something you think I'm capable of, referring to anything that I do as the brand, because it isn't. I'm not like that. I'll never be like that. All right, let's do a little glass water glide, huh? You guys want to end with Jimmy dancing a glass water glide? I thought you did.